What's up guys, Kyle here again, and welcome back to another episode of FAQ'N Friday. Missed you. Two things real quick before we get started. Number one, 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know I'm always going off on these tangents where I'm expressing my gratitude to you guys, but seriously, I appreciate you guys so much. I can't believe that I'm at 5,000 subs already. This channel has grown so quickly. It's gotten so much awesome attention. I've met so many great people through doing this, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks so much for all the tips, all the ideas, all the feedback that you guys give me. That stuff means a lot to me. So I always love reading your comments or messages, suggesting video ideas, telling me what you liked about the last video. That stuff means the world. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And we're just gonna keep on riding this train, baby. I'm gonna go punch myself. Second, even bigger announcement, I am now a Sweetwater affiliate. I gotta pinch myself and make sure yeah. Huge shout out to my man Fluff for getting me hooked up with Sweetwater. Me being an affiliate means that Sweetwater and myself can now work together on product demos and reviews. So if there are any particular products at Sweetwater that you guys want me to try, mics, interfaces, speakers, stuff like that, please be sure to be vocal about that stuff down in the comments, because the more requests that I get for certain things, the more I know what you guys want to see, and the more I can work with Sweetwater for them to get that stuff out to me in order to check out. On top of that, I now have a Sweetwater affiliate link, which is going to be down in the description of every video moving forward. So if you guys end up wanting to purchase anything from Sweetwater, whether it be something that I demo or just anything, you guys want to go buy a guitar from Sweetwater, if you want to help your boy Thrash Damon out, you just go to that link, and anything you buy after you click on that link, I get a little affiliate kickback that I can then stick back into gear for this channel. So help me, help you, help me, something like that, by checking out the Sweetwater affiliate link below in this video and every other video moving forward. Thanks again to Fluff. Thanks again to Sweetwater. Can't believe that this is a thing, but here we are. I'm hyped about it. With that being said, let's jump into your guys' questions. Question number one comes from Omega Lol. He says, "Sup Kyle, have you played a 4-input JCM 800? They have a master volume, but I don't understand why the 4 inputs." Thanks for your question, dude. I actually used to own one of the 4-input JCM 800s. The 4-input JCM 800 actually should not have a master volume, because the 4-input JCM 800 is just a JCM 800 era 1959 Super Lead. It gets a little confusing because of Marshall's naming criteria. Marshall has eras of amplifiers. So the JMP is an era. It's not a specific model. Everybody says the Plexi. Well, technically the Plexi is a 1959 Super Lead, or a 1987, which is the 50-watt Super Lead. JMP is the era. So there is a JMP 1959 Super Lead. There is a JMP 2203, which is really what everybody comes to refer to as the JCM 800 circuit. But the 2203, 2204, that's the master volume model. And the 1959 Super Lead is the non-master volume model. It has 2 volumes and it has 4 inputs where you can jump the channels and then dial each input to taste, because one of the channels is more bass heavy, one of the channels is brighter. When you combine them and push them both, not only does it allow you to fine tune the EQ, but it also increases the amount of gain that the amp has. So anyways, yeah, I used to own one of the 4-input JCM 800s. It was a non-master volume amp. It was a 1959 Super Lead. It sounded awesome. It actually sounded better than the 1959 Super Lead reissue that I had at the same time. The reissue was louder because the power section was more true to the original, where it had more power filtering going on. The 1959 Super Lead, because it's in the later JCM 800 era that I had anyways, it was a 1990, I think, only has the 3 filter caps in the power section, whereas the older ones had the 5 filter caps, and that usually makes for a difference in output. But regardless of that, it was still plenty loud. It actually allowed you to get to a point to where you could get some saturation out of the amp a little earlier. Still not at a reasonable level, but it was earlier than, say, a JMP or a reissue where it's got the full 5 caps in the power section, and that thing was just unreasonably loud. So yeah, I have played it. Is it going to be something that's good for metal? No. I really enjoyed it with an attenuator on it and playing some like mid-gain riffs, some pop-punk riffs and stuff like that with a boost out front. It took a boost just great. So it was an awesome amp, but I sold it and moved it on for some other stuff because in reality, it wasn't anything that I was going to be able to use for Bushido code or my hardcore bands or anything like that. Cool amp to have. not super useful for me in particular. But yeah, if you guys are expecting to get like JCM 800 type tones out of it, you're not really going to get that. The super lead is very bright, very loud, has to be pushed extremely hard in order to get a reasonable amount of saturation out of it. So don't get it expecting 2203 or 2204 type tones or saturation, because that's just not what it is. All right, next question comes from Mike Dervos. He says, "Hi Kyle, just got the EVH 5150 Stealth 50 watt. Congratulations." And I love it. Also congratulations. "Thanks to your demos, you really helped me decide the best amp for my style and my budget." Awesome. "I was wondering, what cab do you think would match good with the Stealth? I was thinking to buy the EVH 212 cab. What's your opinion? Any alternatives? Thanks for your time. Keep up the great demos." Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. As far as a good cab for the Stealth, it's really kind of, you know, everything comes down to personal preference. I actually think that the EVH 2x12 cabs are awesome. I really like the G12H anniversary speakers in there. I feel like they suit the Stealth super well, as does the cab, because the cab's a little bit tighter, and those G12H30s have a great mid-range to them, where the Stealth doesn't have a lot of mids. Again, it's not terribly different from the other two 50-watt EVH amps, but it is a little bit more relaxed in the mid frequencies that tend to cut in a mix. So I really do think that the EVH pairs well with the EVH 2x12 cabs. So I think that's a great option, especially considering that those cabs are $550 new. It's really hard to beat that price for an all plywood cab with good Celestion speakers in it. Another option I think is the Mesa, either the horizontal or the vertical 2x12 cab. I actually think the vertical 2x12 cab is usually the better choice because it's a little bit bigger. If you guys watched Christian Cola's recent video on vintage 30s and miking vintage 30s, both Nolly and Christian talk about miking that top speaker because the front baffle straight create some sort of standing waves or something internally. I'm not going to get into the geeky science of all of it because I truthfully don't understand it all that well. But in reality, if you plan on doing any recording, not only does that vertical cab tilt the speaker more towards your ears so you can actually hear what's going on, but it's going to record better because you're going to have that slant baffle speaker in order to mic up and get the best tones out of. So that's a great option. However, it is a little bit more expensive. If you want to go the really cheap route, you could order a Harley Benton 2x12. To buy one of those new costs less than the price of two vintage 30 speakers. From what I saw last, if you order one of them, the shipping prices are reasonable enough that it definitely works out. It still works out to less than $300 shipped for the cab the last time I checked. One of the Harley Benton vintage 2x12s would be a great option as well. Other than that, man, yeah, you're really gonna have to decide what kind of tones you want out of the amp itself and what kind of cab you think would benefit your ear best. Those would be the ones that I would go with. I would want a mid-heavy speaker for that amp because it doesn't have a whole lot of upper mid cut. It's a little relaxed in the upper mids, or the mids in general. It's just kind of not as mid-forward as some of the other EVH amps, but again, the differences are fairly small. Hope you find what you're looking for, man, and I hope that those suggestions help. Next question comes from Ryan McNutt. He asks, "Kyle, ever try out the Line 6 that was done with Bogner? They're fairly cheap." Thanks for your question, man. There it is. I have one. Haven't tried it yet, but it's sitting back there. So I'm gonna do a detailed demo once I plug into that thing and kind of get it figured out very soon. I've always been curious myself. I actually posted a picture of it when it came in about a week ago. To my surprise, a lot of people that had experience with it said that it was a fairly good sounding amp. So my hopes and expectations have been raised a little bit, knowing that some people whose opinions I trust have tried it and said that it's not as bad as you might think. So I'm definitely gonna check it out, see what type of tones I can get out of it, and make a full-on review for you guys. So hopefully that'll be helpful for anybody looking for those amps. They seem to sell in the like $350, $400 range pretty frequently, so it's a very affordable tube amp with some cool options, especially if you have the big foot controller. I don't, but anyways, we're just gonna be concerned with the tones. So I will definitely be plugging into that thing within the next week or two, trying to get some good tones out of it. Once I feel like I have a handle on it and get it figured out, I will absolutely have a full demo up for you guys to check that thing out. Okay guys, that's gonna be it. That was actually all the questions that were in the comments from last week. The majority of the comments were actually you guys just kind of replying to the things that I said in the video. So I love that interaction, but at the same time, I need questions to keep this show going. So for next week, please put your questions and comments down in the comment section of this video, and I will be sure to answer as many of them as I possibly can. Again, always appreciate your guys' feedback, always appreciate your questions. Take a look down in the description of this video, consider becoming a patron and supporting the channel, or using the Sweetwater affiliate link to support the channel that way. Do not forget about my Facebook group and my Discord server. I would like to get some more people interacting in the Discord server. It's active, we're talking every day, but would love to keep that thing growing with the channel. So take a look down in the description for the Discord server and consider joining up there. And that's all I got for this week. Thank you guys again for stopping by. Kyle here again. We'll see you guys next time.